are talking about the string and string builder. In this section, we will talk about what is a string method, a string property, a string interpolation, and how we can parsing a string and the difference between parsing and try parse. And we also ever talk about the string builder. Okay, what is an string? An string is the C sharp. It's a sequence of character to store a text. It's used to store, for example, a name, email, or a message. We will talk about the string methods, for example, split, join, compare. We will talk about all of them. And the benefit of an string interpolation in C sharp. Why should we use interpolation? And we will also talk about parse and try parse. And in the last, we will talk about the string builder. What is an string builder and the difference between a string builder and a string? Why we should use a string builder and when we should use a string builder? Okay, welcome back to the course. Let's start coding. We will talk about the all existing string method, string interpolation, parse, try parse, and string builder. First of all, I have to define a variable, for example, name, and give a value, for example, hello world, and put a comma because I wanted to explain the split method for first. Okay, and do something like this. Okay, and now we want to use an split. First of all, I have to say the split will return an array of string. For that, we want to define a variable return, for example, return split, the name of variable, and say, if you understand, it's say name split because the name split that will return an array, it suggests us to use a split. Okay, but I wanted to explain you. If you just write name, and if you press dot, you will see all existing method of an string variable will come up. Okay, just say split, and if you open the parenthesis, it will say you will should enter a character. For character, we just use single quotation. If you don't understand the difference between all existing data type in C#, take a look at my first section of this course that I will explain you all of the data type in C#. Okay, here I say I wanted to split my variable based on the comma. Okay, I told you, because the return type is an array, we should use an for each to show the result. Okay, here you should say console right line and say item. Okay, just press F5. You will see we have 3 hello world because here you have 1, 2, comma, and it will return one result, 2 result, and second result. Okay, it was the split. Okay, now we wanted to talk about the join. Okay, let me remove this. Okay, suppose you have a situation that you want to join two items together. For example, in a situation like this, you need a list of a string, and I say name 1 and say name 2 and name 3. Okay, I wanted to explain the join. For join, we should use return join. Okay, for a situation like this, we say a string dot join. Okay, and here say well, you want to join all of your item in the list based on the, for example, an star. Okay, and after that we say for each. If you take a look, what do we have in the result? Okay, it's the reverse of a split, because the split will return an array, but the join use an array and return just a string. Okay, but if you press F5, you will get, hey, name 1 star name 2 star name 3. Why? Because you are using array. It's completely wrong. It's completely wrong. Okay, if you want to show the result of the join, you have just press this return join. Okay, and that you will see name 1 star, name 2 star, name 3. Okay, if you have a list of string and you want to concat together based on a character or everything, you should use join. But if you have a string and you want to split them based on a character, you should use a split. Okay, let's talk about the third one is concat. Okay, let me define another variable, and it's say, for example, hello world 3, and it's a name 2. Okay, and we want to concat. Let me show you. For example, we want to name string dot concat string concat, and he say, I'm sorry. Okay, name 1, name, and name 2. Okay, we press F5, you'll see hello world, hello world, hello world, hello world 3, hello world in just a second. If you want to concat two items together, you will use concat. Okay, for S3 start with and end with, we will touch now. Okay, suppose you have a situation like this. Okay, and you want to check if one of your, for example, variable, and it say name dot start with, it say just enter and character. Okay, we will say if it start with h, just print yes. It start with h. Okay, press F5 and you say yes, it start with h. Okay, it's so important to know if we just change it to h in uppercase. Okay, we will say if else, and copy that, and here we say no, it didn't start with h. Okay, if press F5, you say no, it didn't start with H, because start with is so sensitive to uppercase and lowercase. Okay, and the last one is null or empty. It's so important. Suppose you have a situation that the user want to enter a variable and a value, and you want to check it if the value is null or empty, or it has a space, or for a situation like this, you will say if num string is null or empty, and now you should give a variable here. Say, for example, yes, yes, or no. Yes, it's null. No, it's not null. Okay, we say if is null or empty, say it is not. Otherwise, say no, it's not null. Let me start. No, it's not null. What will happen if we have situation like this? For example, null. Okay, why we get the red line? If you don't know what's the difference between a var or define and type, just take a look at my first section of this course. Okay, if if I press F5, you will say yes, it's not. For situation that you want to check the entity of your program or application, just you have to check it's null or empty. Okay, now we want to talk about the string interpolation. Suppose you have a situation like this. Let me remove this, and you have something like this. First variable. Okay, and you want to concat two items together, and for example, I told you that you can use concat, or in console right line you can use something like that. Name plus name 2. If you take a look at the output, you say first variable. Let me change it to something like this to you understand your first variable and second variable. Okay, and now press F5. Say first variable and after that second variable. There's no space between. If you want to need a space, you should use something like this. Okay, and press something like this. Okay, and now you will get your desired result. Okay, first variable and second variable. But in this after C#6, we have a very easy string interpolation. Why? I don't know what is a string interpolation. Okay, just type a dollar and double and string and double quotation. Okay, and just put a curly braces for each of your variable. For example, I say name and space and up again name 2 and press F5. Yeah, it's so easy. It's so easy. And here you can type everything you want. For example, I am here. It's C sharp. It's easy. Okay. Okay. It's a string interpolation. Just if I remove this, you will get name. I am here. C sharp is easy name too. But if anyone asks you what is the string interpolation, you say string interpolation is just print dollar and you can access to all of your variable in the output. Okay, what is a parse and try parse? Okay, suppose you have a situation something like this. Okay, and you have int age and you want to do something like this. Okay, var c, and let me do something int and just say name int that try parse, or let me explain the parse. Okay, parse name. Okay, now in parse and try parse, we will use it for check and convert an string and put it in the int item. Okay, if I press F5, you say it's okay. Okay, what will happen if I have h or something character here? Your program will crash. Okay, suppose you have a situation in your programming. It's for beginners, it's so important to understand the difference between parse and try parse. Okay, if you have a situation that you have your user should enter a value to your program and it's an string and you want to get a number of this string into one of your variable and do something for that, just use try parse, because parse, the difference between parse and try parse is the parse will crash your program. Okay, your program will crash because you didn't manage your program. Oh, what will happen if I have try parse? Okay, let me stop the program and say, hey, int that try parse, and say something like this. It's a out int result and the string, and I say, hey, check my name, and if it has any problem, okay, just put the age in my variable. Okay, why I get in a red line? Because the output of try parse and is in boolean, true or false. Try parse will check your program. If the entry of this try parse is true, it means that the user enter the true item. For example, here, let me just say bool, and after that print it and say, for example, C. I press F5, it said false. What happened? Because here I have some character and some number here. If I remove the character and do, it say true. What happened? It say, hey, it's completely true. It's completely true. It say name, if name, for example, you can check it. For example, if if int parse is okay, just type the user enter correct value. Okay, set the user enter the correct value. Okay, now we will talk about the method, string, and interpolation, parse, and try parse. Now let's talk about the last subject, the string builder and string. Okay, it's easier for the advanced course, but here I wanted to explain in detail. Okay, a string in C# is immutable, but a string builder is mutable. What's the difference between immutable and mutable? A string is immutable. It means you cannot change it during your program. Okay, but a string builder is mutable. It means you can change it. Okay, suppose you have a big project and you are working on the large text. Okay, and you need some situation that you have to change your string, and for this reason the string is not good because it will create a copy of your variable and create a new, and it will use another very memory in your program. Okay, for this reason, for project that you are using for large tech, it's better to use data is of type string builder. Okay.